Hi there, everybody. It's Tim Derling, and this is Tim's Vinyl Confessions, a solo show this time around. Really enjoyed doing the best of 1991 episode last week, and we'll be doing some more of those. We've got some special episodes coming up, like doing this by the year. But on this episode, I want to go through my Queen collection as far as DVDs go. I don't have all of their home video releases, certainly not. There's been so many. You know, a band like Queen, their career spans decades and different releases that come out in different countries and things like that. But I've got some cool things here and some things I want to recommend if you're a Queen fan. And you like to go a little bit extra than just simply listening to the albums. You've heard Matt and I talk about the Classic Albums series. I'll show you the logo there. Series of releases. They are a UK-based company, put up by Eagle Rock, and they did a series of documentary films on classic albums, usually just concentrating on one album in particular, sometimes two. But this is their edition that talks about A Night at the Opera from 1975. That's why it's the first thing I'm talking about here. This is a really good in-depth look at the classic Queen album, and insights from Roy Thomas Baker, Brian May, Roger Taylor, some archive stuff with Freddie Mercury. They may have brought John Deacon in there to write some archival stuff with him too. He's a pretty quiet guy. And other musicians about the impact that this album had on them, like Joe Perry and Nuno Bettencourt. Those things are very, very cool. Learned a lot about the making of the album. Of course, this contained Bohemian Rhapsody, so they talk about that. There's interviews with label people. It's just really, really in-depth. If you're a Queen fan, really, especially if you're into the Night at the Opera album, and I don't know too many Queen fans that aren't, definitely recommend picking this up. And if you just like these type of documentaries, get all of these that you see on any band. This is the only Queen one. It's too bad they couldn't have done some more. Next thing I want to show you isn't a Queen release per se, but Queen are all over it. Of course, this is Flash Gordon, and this is the Savior of the Universe edition. This is the Flash Gordon movie from 1980, starring Sam J. Jones as Flash Gordon. And as we all know, Queen provided the soundtrack. So kind of had to pick this one up to go with my Queen collection. Yeah, they did the entire soundtrack for this, so that one's next. The next thing came out in 2004, but it's from 1982, the material on it. It's a really cool collection. This is called Queen on Fire, Live at the Bowl. This is from Milton Keynes in 1982 when they were on the Hot Space Tour, 5th of June, 1982, as a matter of fact. So Disc 1 has the entire concert, and Disc 2 has some bonus features, including some rare interviews. There's a photo gallery. This kind of came and went without much, it didn't really sell that well. But if it had come out earlier, I think when Queen Mania was at its peak, or maybe a little bit later, it might have done better. This is a good, really good in-depth snapshot of a band. Hot Space is generally considered to be one of their poorer albums, but on tour they were never better. And the songs from that album sounded really, really good live, like Action This Day and Staying Power. And of course, it's not heavy on the Hot Space material. You know, it's a lot of classic stuff. They do cool things like The Hero from Flash Gordon, which we just talked about. Well worth seeking out if you haven't already added it to your Queen DVD collection. As a matter of fact, this one's got one of the only flip DVD cases I've ever seen, so this is a cool collection to pick up. A really, really good in-depth documentary on the band. I think 2011. This is called Queen Days of Our Lives, the definitive documentary on the world's greatest rock band. I wouldn't disagree with that. This goes into a lot of detail, and I learned a lot from when I originally watched this. I think you can see it on YouTube, actually. But I learned a lot from watching this that I did not know about the band. Of course, buying this, you get things that you don't get on, just watching it on YouTube. Booklet that comes with it. It's kind of some cool photos of the band throughout the years. And there are some bonus videos on here. 7 Seas of Rye, Killer Queen, Somebody to Love, We Are the Champions, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Under Pressure, Radio Gaga, and there's a couple of additional scenes that aren't in the documentary themselves that deal with the later part of Queen's career from 1986 on. Highly recommend this documentary if you're even a casual Queen fan and you like a good music documentary. Coming up next is something that I originally picked up on VHS back in 1992, which was the year I got into Queen. Had a different cover on it, but it's been reissued several times. This is a double set. It's called Queen, Rock, Montreal, and Live Aid. And if it sounds kind of clunky as a title, it is. So what you get here, and all these pictures, what those are from, Queen Rock Montreal was originally called We Will Rock You when it was released on home video. It's a 1981 concert from the Montreal Forum, and you know, Queen were, I guess they were supporting the Greatest Hits album at this point, because they do Under Pressure live, but no Hot Space material besides that. But Under Pressure was on the original Greatest Hits, at least it was in North America, and the band sounds fantastic. It's a really good set, and also it has their legendary performance from Live Aid. I stuck that on there as well. So I've seen this pretty cheap. It's worth picking up. Like I said, it's a little bit, I don't know, I'm not sure about the packaging or the, you know, the cash-in, you know, kind of side of it, but they're legendary performances, and I guess, you know, the Live Aid thing, unless you're going to buy the entire Live Aid concert, it's a pretty short segment to put out by itself, so I guess that's why they packaged it with something else. Starting about, boy, I guess about 7 or 8 years ago now, Queen started releasing some really cool archival material. This is still one of my favorites. Live at the Rainbow 74, classic concert from the Sheer Heart Attack tour, November of 74. That entire show is on here. Also, there's some tracks that are in black and white from March 74 from the Queen 2 tour. Vintage footage of this band, and they are heavy. Like, it's, you know, it's heavy stuff, and you know, the stuff on those first 3 albums tended to be heavier anyway. They were just, from the outset, these guys were out for world domination, and they look so cool. I love this period of the band too. And you get to hear songs that, you know, they would drop from their set lists as they went along, as they got more and more hits and more albums to feature. This also, of course, this came out on vinyl, came out on CD. It's a really good concert. The next year, they put out a concert from the next year, something from 1975. Queen a Night at the Odeon. I believe I did a review episode of this way back, an early one for me. And this was December 24th, 1975. It was a Christmas Eve concert. And it was just the start of the Night at the Opera tour. It's really good. There's a documentary on here with Brian May, Roger Taylor, and also Bob Harris, who was a famous BBC disc jockey. Some cool packaging that came with this. And just one more thing I want to show you. Like I said, I don't have everything they released, and this also had its own review episode. It's the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, which I still think is excellent. This is the Blu-ray DVD package. I thought they did a really good job with this, and I have no quibbles with the sort of timeline things that didn't quite line up. It's a movie. It's for entertainment purposes, but the actors that portrayed the guys, still really impressed with these performances, and you know, there's not much more to say about it. If you haven't gotten around to watching this and you're a Queen fan, don't let any of the negative reviews throw you. This is a thoroughly enjoyable movie. So that's my Queen, I guess, home video collection. What have you got out there? Is there anything out there I should be on the lookout for? Let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching Tim's Final Confessions.